Welcome to the Mama Mudra podcast. I'm Kate Thompson-Duwe, and I believe that the wellness industry has a joy problem, so we're aiming to fix it. This podcast is where we bring in experts to challenge beliefs and tools to feel good, stay consistent, and build a life that works. Because in this community, joy is the new performance metric. Welcome back to the Mama Mudra podcast. Today we are talking about something incredibly interesting and very confusing, which is the world of supplements. If you walk into any health store or even any spa or Checkers or Pick n Pay today, the health section is filled to the brim with vitamins and supplements and a million different powders and capsules and adaptogens and you name it. Drinks and sprays, and the list goes on. And I know this because I'm always fascinated by all of them, and I always think I need all of them. And on the one hand, we have so many experts telling us that we no longer get the basic nutrients and supplementation that we used to get from our food because the food is overprocessed, there are too many chemicals in it. So we have this feeling that we are completely undernourished from a supplement and a nutrient perspective. But then on the other hand, the wellness industry has exploded into such an enormous space that we don't know where to begin and where to end. And there is certainly such a thing as overdoing it and also overspending. It's really expensive to constantly stock up on all of these supplements. So today's question is a really simple but really important one, and that is, if we do need more nutritionally than we used to because we're not getting it from our food, where do we start? So to help us navigate this conversation, I brought in Toni Carroll, who is someone that has spent more than 2 decades working in the wellness and beauty and longevity spaces and nutraceutical industry. She's got a deep understanding of supplements. She's got a deep understanding of many things, but for today, we're going to focus on supplementation. I'm sure we'll have her back to speak about the other things that she can speak about. But she's also got a really refreshingly honest perspective on what we should be doing and what is more marketing hype and how not to get caught up in that marketing hype. So Toni, I'm really excited to have you here. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Pleasure. And I think that, let's jump straight into it because I think everyone wants to feel better. Everyone wants to feel good. We all try to eat well, but we are aware that there are things that need to be supplemented, especially at various stages of life, especially as women with our hormonal changes, et cetera, et cetera. But it's so easy to get sucked in. And as I said earlier, I'm very aware, even for myself, when I look at the handfuls of pills that I take at various stages in the mornings and in the evenings. And I wonder, is this really all doing its job? Am I just peeing it out during the course of the day and it's a complete waste of money? Is it something that I need? So the big question to start with is, are we nutrient deficient? Are we really lacking that much in what we used to supposedly get from our food? And what are the big sort of main ones to worry about?
A simple answer, yes.
Okay.
We are nutrient deficient. And I think it stems from the state of our soil, actually. And if we look at when the Industrial Revolution started over 100 years ago, that's when everything changed for us as mankind. Everything became commercialized, commercial farming, commercial agriculture, factory farming for animals. So the current state of the soil, which not a lot of people know about, but what we do understand is the word microbiome, because now everybody's very aware of their gut microbiome. Some people are aware that your skin has its own microbiome, your mouth has its own microbiome. But what people don't, maybe just because they, it's not their, what's the word? Passion.
Field.
Their field of interest, is soil is probably the Earth's microbiome. And unfortunately, it's been severely compromised. So if we think of our own bodies, if our gut microbiome is compromised, we know what happens to our health. I mean, it's now prevalent everywhere. So now imagine with the soil. And that's been going on for many, many years. And unfortunately, I call it the agricultural industrial complex, this horrible, nasty term. But in South Africa, over 90% of all farmers use glyphosate. They're still using pesticides, herbicides. And what happens is that the soil is actually made up of bacteria and a mycorrhizal fungus, which not many people know about. And that is the soul of the soil. And what happens with glyphosate is it infiltrates that, kills it completely. So even when people talk about, there's organic farming, the organic farmers still have to add into the soil because the soil is dead. And it's a global problem. And, nobody talks about it, and rightly so, sure. We do get food that we can still obviously eat, otherwise we wouldn't be here. But the problem is that it is compromised. It really, really is. And the nutritional density of a apple from 80 years ago, 50 years ago even, to today, it's like 30%.
Wow.
100% from 50 years ago to like maybe 30% if we're lucky.
Sure.
So obviously that left a massive gap in the marketplace for supplements. But now it's just an explosion. And like you said, everybody's confused. Everybody gets caught into this hype because, and if you think about it, the marketers in these shops are so clever. The way they place it, the way they put it on shelf, it's almost like it's gamified. It's like you're walking in there, it's like a candy store.
Yeah.
Oh, this one's going to sort out my gut problem, and this one's going to sort out my arthritis, and this one's going to make my skin glow, and this one's going to... But the funny thing is, Kate, is everybody knows they have to eat properly. And yes, even though we are nutrient deficient because of the soil and because of the state of the plants, we are still... A supplement is never going to replace high-quality, good food. Never, ever, ever. If you're living on good food, as good as you can get, some people don't even need supplements. Honestly, they don't. So it's always about you have to figure out for yourself, and you have to get to the point where you really are in tune with your body, and whatever that means for you. Some people really aren't, and some people are, but everybody has to get to that point because you're wasting money. And what I say to people is, if they question if something's working for them, chuck it away.
Yeah.
Don't. It's not working. Don't bother, because you will know when something is working. You really, really will. Even some of my clients that are really sick, they're really unhealthy, have all sorts of problems. They know when something's working and when something's not. So that's also a very good, very quick, easy, simple way to go home now and just, okay, does this work for me? No, I don't really know. Chuck it.
Because surely in this day and age as well, I get that our soil has been completely depleted, so we're not getting what we need from our food, but also our general lifestyles for most of us have surely also increased our need for certain nutrients because of the fact that our stress levels are way too high. Our sleep is probably, the quality is not good because we're on screens up until the moment before we fall asleep. Wake up, look at a screen. Maybe some people are too sedentary, they're not getting enough movement. So even if the person is eating well and finding good food and then supplementing sort of the balance of what they can't get from their food, surely there's still a level of, are we ever able to get to a point that we actually are getting enough of what we need? And also, again, I know that it's a highly personalized approach, and I talk about that in every area of wellness, so I do agree with it. But are there some, and you can tell me no if that is the answer, but are there not some general supplements that everyone, no matter what, if they're living a fast-paced, highly stressed life, should take regardless of how well they eat, just because we are probably deficient because of lifestyle?
Absolutely. So just touching on the fact that, the lifestyles that we lead today is not like it was 50, 100 years ago. And today, what is the most pressing thing is our dopamine receptors. So we're living in a world where everything is just scrolling, instant gratification. Our dopamine receptors are completely screwed.
Yeah, they're fried.
I hope I can say that word.
Yes.
They're fried.
Yeah.
They really are. So that for me is the main cause of everything, and we're not getting enough minerals. And if you don't get enough minerals, that leads to severe ADHD, ADD, all these problems that a lot of these kids have.
Yeah.
That, when I was growing up, I don't know what ADD was.
Totally.
There was no, I got to hiding and carry on.
Sit down and concentrate, 100%.
Study,
Yeah.
maybe I had it, maybe I didn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's a severe mineral deficiency. The brain is actually starved of minerals, and parents don't know that because, the medical industry won't tell you that.
Yeah.
And that's a simple solution. So in order to reset dopamine receptors so that they're normal, there's a certain amino acid that we need, which is tyrosine. And there's also 3 minerals that are critical for that. One is iron. And if you look at iron today, every commercial iron tablet on the shelf, your body won't absorb it. It's literally... So, I mean, there's number 1. Number 2 is zinc,
Yes.
which we can get, which isn't a problem. And the third one is magnesium, which is to answer your question, if there was one supplement, you could only afford one supplement, and that was it. It would be magnesium. That is the most potent, powerful mineral that we can take. And what's so amazing about it is that with iron and with copper and with all these others, zinc, etc., you actually can't take a lot of it. If you go and overdose on zinc, you will be violently ill. And when I say overdose, it's like 100 milligrams is an overdose. But with magnesium, you can literally take 30 grams a day and you will feel incredible.
Okay. But there are a million different types of magnesium. So
Yeah.
and I know this because I have tried most of them. And it's like at one stage I was just taking normal magnesium and then I had to be on magnesium citrate. And then there's this. And I mean, it genuinely is just never ending when you're trying to just do the right thing. And it does almost reach a point that you're like, you know what? I can't, so I just won't, So how do you figure out what is right for you when the options rather are just endless?
So we have to also remember that this whole machine wants us to spend money. Like the supplement industry wants you to buy 10 different types of magnesium and wants you to buy 30 different types of collagens, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So common sense, we need to always remember that. What are they trying to sell me as opposed to what do I actually need? So there's no more magnesium left in the soil. We know this, okay? Now everyone will know this. We have to supplement with it. Yes, you get different types of magnesium as you see, and some people will say, oh, you need to take it at certain times of the day. I'm here to tell you, just take magnesium.
Yeah, because
whatever
they say
form
take
it comes
at bedtime
in,
because it helps you sleep.
it does not matter.
Okay.
Biglycinate, glycinate, orotate, chloride, there's so many. But just take
it.
Just take it.
Okay.
Go find one. If it's got a whole bunch of different versions of magnesium in there, fine, take it. If it's just a biglycinate, take it. I would recommend you take it in the morning and afternoon and actually at night.
Okay.
Because you want to macrodose on it. You don't want to microdose on magnesium.
Okay.
You want to just take as much of it as you can, as much as your wallet can afford, as much as you can physically take. Magnesium chloride is a little bit harsh. It will give you like a bit of a diarrhea effect.
Okay.
So maybe don't take that one. Or if you have only have access to that, take that in the morning.
Yes.
And maybe just take a little bit throughout the day. But just take magnesium.
And for kids as well.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I almost want to challenge parents. If their kids on Ritalin or Concerta or all of these things to help them concentrate and behave, actually.
Yeah.
Just try magnesium, but a lot of magnesium. Wow. 2 little capsules is not going to cut it. And the fact that we can tolerate it so well, we are literally starved of magnesium. And you know what else leaches magnesium out of our system? Everyone hates me when I say this. That's not alcohol. I mean, that's terrible. It's coffee.
Oh, wow.
And the whole Western world lives on coffee.
Yeah.
And, coffee's great. But let me tell you, I decided to quit coffee a couple months ago. It was the best thing I ever did, apart from stopping smoking 20 years ago. That was probably the best thing I ever did. I've never been a drinker, so that was fine. But I loved coffee. I mean, I actually used to work for a coffee company. So coffee. But eventually, as I got older, it started to, like my breathing was affected. And I'm already very highly strung and excitable. Everything excites me. But stopping coffee for a month, the withdrawals and the pain and the mood swings, I really realized what a drug it is.
Yeah.
And how highly addictive it is. And yes, men have a cup of coffee a day, but the problem is people then have 2.
Yes.
And they reach for it in the afternoon. And now we look at the big picture our adrenals are getting hammered.
Plus the dopamine from the
Plus the
screens.
dopamine,
Yeah.
which is a serious problem.
And then potentially alcohol at night.
Thank you. So now you're getting a downer with the alcohol, and now your body's like, what is going
What's
on?
going on? Yeah.
No wonder my hair's falling out. No wonder I'm aging. No wonder I can't sleep. If you're trying to fall pregnant, well, forget that. You're not going to. So there's and then what do? We go, oh, let me get a supplement for that because I need vitamin B is going to help me. Well, this is going to. Yeah.
It's quite scary. It's, I think it's almost sort of desperation. I think that gets people, and that's, not I think it is, and that's obviously what these companies are relying on. Is that we are all so desperate to find these answers, and we just don't really know, what they are. So we just try and figure out or listen to someone that we look up to that seems to know what they're doing, and we just copy what they're doing because it seems to work for them, not understanding how personal it really is. But it's obvious when it comes to movement, and it's obvious when it comes to food and things like that because of metabolism and all of that. But with regards to a supplementation protocol, and especially when we're talking about the basics, is it still true that there is no such thing as a one-size-fits-all, that, even if someone is just focused on like a B vitamin, a magnesium, a D vitamin, whatever it is, that what works really well for one person is not going to work for the other? There's no such thing as a one-size-fits-all approach, to anything, seemingly.
Yeah, and also, if there was that miracle pill,
everyone would...
we'd all be on it.
Yeah.
It would be so wonderful.
Yeah.
So no, there isn't a one-size-fits-all, not at all. And what it boils down to, and what also not many people are aware of, because the supplement industry won't tell you this, is that it's your physiology.
Yes.
And it's your genetics. And, when I started doing collagen in 2014, whoa, yeah, long time ago, I started realizing over the years, it would work quite well for some people, quite well. It's not a miracle. And other people, like, there was absolutely zero. And that also got me on another path, like, well, why is this happening? And really, when you look at a person's individual physiology and their genes, some people can synthesize collagen amazingly well. And in their 70s, they still look fantastic. Yeah. And others just literally can't. So
is that regardless, sorry to interrupt you, is that regardless of the form that you consume it in?
Absolutely. Okay. No, the supplement will only be able to do as much as it can according to how is your brain sitting? What's happening with your brain? Because your brain is the master organ and is governing everything, is governing how that supplement is being absorbed, how it's being utilized, what pathways are being like everything. So if your brain is compromised in any way, then that supplement's not going to do its job. Not to the, if you're spending 1,500 Rand on omegas, but your brain is so fatigued and sitting in a state where it just can't anymore. It doesn't matter what you put in your body. So, and that's unfortunately, there's not many ways that people can test that. Yeah, sure, they can go to their doctor and they can have all of that done. Where's your autonomic nervous system sitting? Where are your hormones sitting? So that's what a lot of people don't understand. And that's why some people will get amazing results and others will take exactly the same and they will get zero results. So yeah, it's a very personal
I was going to say, you're making people more confused than not. I'm also sitting here thinking, oh my gosh. So if someone listening today, and I'm probably even speaking to myself, feels quite overwhelmed now about where to start, because again, we've hammered home. I've got 3 kids, so I'm trying to supplement not just myself, but also make sure they're getting what they need, as well as my husband. It's a bloody expensive exercise trying to figure out and make sure that we've got the right stuff in the kitchen cupboard, and also we're taking it at the right time, as you said, and with food or without food, or can you take them together or not. For anyone listening that is feeling super overwhelmed, where can we start, bearing in mind that not everyone can go through full testing,
of course,
blood panels, whatever would be needed? Where do we start to just try and figure out, as you said, like what works, what makes you feel good, what doesn't, if that is the best way to sort of discern your preferred protocol?
I think everyone should be taking more protein, number one. That's very easy, and I think we all know that. I don't think anyone is reaching their protein goals.
And sorry to interrupt, through food or through supplementation, through protein powder?
Yeah, so through food, I don't think they are. So they need to. So that is a definite. A very high quality protein powder.
Okay.
There's great vegan options out there, and sometimes those plant-based ones are actually more easily absorbed in the body.
Okay.
There is science out there to prove that.
Yeah.
So that's an easy one. And that's not a fake like rah trend. Like we really do need a lot more high quality protein. The meat is compromised, the eggs are compromised, and unless you have access to really healthy grass-finished, grass-raised meat and happy hens, which the majority of people don't, just get a nice protein supplement. Definitely magnesium. Definitely magnesium. And honestly, I would even just stop there.
Yes, okay.
Omegas are really important, but, you can bring me on another podcast and I can go through a whole study that was done on the omegas. Every single one was taken off the shelf in South Africa. It was frightening what was in there.
Wow.
So, again, I would rather eat the fish.
Yes.
If you can get a high fatty fish, mackerel, salmon. Again, not easy
then
for everybody.
About mercury content.
Listen, so the thing is, our bodies are so amazing. They are so clever and they are so smart. If our immune system daily is battling thousands and thousands of things that are being thrown at it, people don't realize the attack on our bodies daily. Not just that, we're dealing with emotional crap,
Sure.
We've got to work, everything. There is so much that's going on for us. Our dopamine is screwed.
Yeah, it can handle
Our
some
adrenals
mercury.
are, so our bodies are magnificent in how they can cope. So,
Okay.
So we've
almost got to weigh the good with the bad.
We've got to give them credit is due. So when we're having all these compromised foods, which they are compromised, unless you're living on a farm, growing your own food, raising your own cattle, how wonderful. No one's doing that.
Yeah.
Your body knows how to expel that. So if your liver is healthy, and your systems are working at least 60, 70% to efficacy, you're going to be able to get rid of that.
Okay.
So that's not even a concern. Honestly, that's not a concern. I mean, if you're eating poison, toxic food, you're gonna know it. And no supplement will ever replace food. Never, ever, ever. People need to remember the word supplement. You're supplementing.
It's extra.
It's extra. It's not the go-to. So
so protein and magnesium as a start.
For women, which this is a huge concern. Most women we test, their mitochondria are completely shot, and most women are iron deficient and anemic. 99% of all women I deal with,
including menopausal, even if they're not still menstruating. Okay,
all of them. There's a problem. I mean, I've got clients that are in their 70s. They're all anemic.
Wow. Okay.
And the thing with iron, as we know now, it's very important to regulate dopamine. You have to eat your iron. And we don't eat organs anymore. I mean, my gran ate, and I remember even the
used
cooking.
To have liver and kidneys every morning for breakfast. Yeah,
I mean,
with
even my late dad. I remember sometimes my mom, I'd come home and I'm like, "What's that smell?"
Yeah,
awful smell because but we're not used to it now.
Yeah,
it's a generational thing and it's died out. I mean, and again, look, my gran lived to 101.
Yep. Yeah, totally.
And they lived on organs.
Yes.
So organs are the most nutrient-dense food on the planet. They really, really are. They're also the most gross food on the planet.
Yeah.
So I don't know why God did that to us, but that's unfortunately the reality of the situation. But the good news is that you can get organ capsules now.
Yes.
So you can get beef liver, you can get, I think game, there's like kudu liver out there.
Okay.
You can get a blend of different organs now. So that is something that even for men as well, you will get so much nutrition out of that capsule. Just make sure it's dehydrated and not over-processed and that it comes from a clean source, which most of the stuff does. I've looked. We've got some great supplies now in South Africa. For women, let me tell you, that is an absolute game changer. That will do more for you than any collagen supplement will ever do. And I sell collagen. And even I can say to that. I mean, it's almost like if there's a miracle pill, apart from magnesium, it's beef liver capsules, kudu liver capsules.
I'm going to go and get some
So there we go. Protein powder, nice quality protein powder. Try not to have all the additives and, unicorn dust poop flavor and all that jazz.
Yeah.
Try and keep it as clean as possible, even if it's just plain whey isolate or whey concentrate with no flavors, no sugar, obviously no sugar.
Yes.
Magnesium, lots and lots of magnesium. And what was the other one I said? Liver.
The liver capsules.
Yeah, liver capsules.
Okay, interesting. So one of the biggest trends in wellness, I mean, it's not right now, it's been around for a while, and this is something that really interests me. This is definitely going to be another podcast episode, but I felt like we needed to do this sort of foundational one first, is functional mushrooms and adaptogens and all of these wonderful things, which previously were seen as more recreational. And they are everywhere now. I mean, you can buy mushroom powders in Spa and Shakers as well. You can buy things that you put in your tea. You can buy chocolates. You can buy tinctures. You can buy whatever. And I really am someone that does believe in, I'm very scared to try doing journeys and stuff like that myself, just because the concept of it really scares me but fascinates me. But I am someone that believes in our minds are kind of so limited by our belief systems and just fear in general, that sometimes you actually need something to force you out of that in order to really widen your, perspective and et cetera, potentially release trauma, all of those wonderful things. But with regards to mushrooms and things like that and adaptogens as supplementation, obviously that sort of psychedelic side of things is a very different part of the conversation. Is there a place for mushrooms and psilocybin and all of that, that sort of side of wellness in wellness? Does it actually have a benefit, or is it just marketing hype and it doesn't really do much?
It is 100% the future.
Okay.
And when I was doing collagen in 2014, I also went and did a deep dive into mushrooms, not the psychedelic ones. I knew that was there and I knew the benefits. But I started doing research on all the other species, reishi, lion's mane, turkey tail, etc. And back then it was very, very difficult to find anything, because everything just, you're talking about magic mushrooms. No, there's others. Which was fantastic, because it took me down this rabbit hole. And what I realized, that with mushrooms, you've got thousands of years of anecdotal evidence. So, the Western world always wants double-blind placebo trials in the human. That's great. Of course, we need it. Of course we do. But if you look at the East, who've been using mushrooms therapeutically since BC times. And in fact, when we did all our research and we flew over there and we studied and we did all the things we had to do, so I could come back with like true knowledge. Over there, their first protocol is mushrooms.
Oh, wow.
So if you go to a doctor in the East, they're not going to just give you a drug, or they will give you whatever species of mushroom according to your ailment. And if that really doesn't work, then the second protocol is drugs.
And also for kids?
And animals.
Wow.
So when I was doing a lot of research, because I was almost like, what is the best out there, because there's all these supplements, and I was doing all these weird fasting protocols. I mean, I've put my body through. You don't even want to know. Guinea pig doesn't even begin to describe it. But I'm glad I did, so I can at least talk on most things, I hope. But yeah, back then I was looking for the highest, echelon, what is the highest? If I had to take one kingdom, what is it? Is it the plants? Is it, where is this coming from? So the reason I didn't mention mushrooms is because there's still a fear around it.
Yes.
And I'm so grateful that it exploded. It was really tough back then. I tried to get investors. I tried to get people interested. They were like, are you mad? Nobody. I said, I promise you, this is going to be the future. And lion's mane in particular for me, really fascinated me. And I have no idea. Maybe it's as vain as the fact that I'm a Leo. It probably was that. But I was like, how can there be this mushroom called, And then I started researching. And then we flew over to, I can't say where because it's an IP, and we studied with one of the top professors in the world. And we learned how they are grown according to different specs. So if you want medical spec as opposed to like gourmet en masse spec, they're grown completely differently.
Wow.
Which is... I mean, that's a whole podcast.
Yes, absolutely.
There's definitely a place for it. And people just need to overcome that fear. I mean, I still, even though it's everywhere now, people still say to me, oh, Toni, it's not going to make me high if I take it.
Yeah.
And going back to psilocybin, so, psilocybin, there's a place for everything. And also a takeaway message from today is I want people to understand the body doesn't like extremes of anything. And, we've entered into this whole biohacking world, and everyone's trying all these. They're really putting their body through massive extremities, and bodies don't like that. Our brain doesn't like it. Our nervous system doesn't like it. And even though we could feel amazing, we could look amazing, all these things, then the case is you hear of these people that were healthy, fit, amazing, vegan, ran every morning, never drank, didn't drink coffee, never smoked. They dropped down dead of a heart attack at 35 or 40. And you're like, what? So any extreme is just... So the thing with psilocybin for me is that if you use it for a purpose and an intention, it can... You know what it does? It literally unstucks your stuck brain.
Yes. Yeah.
And like you said, we have all these pre-programmed, I mean, it's not our fault. Yeah. That's how our brain is wired. Our brain wants that, the brain works like that. But when it's unhealthy programming, obviously, the brain doesn't know the difference. So we know the difference. Emotionally, we know the difference, but our brain doesn't. So it's really good to use for certain situations and for certain periods of your life in certain ways that can maybe help you through that trauma or whatever it is that you're trying to get through. The problem is that it becomes a bit of an addiction, that feeling, and then people abuse it. And I personally, if it's working for others, great. But I've also seen the other end of that, where people abuse it and they actually change. Their personalities change a little bit, and it's all like very subtle. So just respect things that are going to alter your mind, and maybe speak to people that really know what they're talking about, and they don't want to just push the stuff on you because they themselves are like, oh,
yes.
And
also do it, if you are going to go to that extreme with something like that, obviously make sure that it's guided, make sure it's with someone that knows what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are a lot of people out there, I think, that jumped on those bandwagons and are like, I'm a shaman or whatever sitting in my house in Noordhoek, but they really aren't, and it can be a hell of a dangerous. And I think that's why there is such a fear around all of that, because it's like, God, what if the second my mind goes, someone's like, all of a sudden realizes they're not equipped to handle this. I have loved the episode today. I really have. So thank you. But I must say, I am, as opposed to feeling like I understand direction now in supplementation, I myself feel quite overwhelmed. And I can only imagine that people listening are feeling similar, because there is just so much to this topic. So if there was one thing, okay, I'm not going to say one thing because there clearly isn't one thing, but what would your advice be to people that are really looking to simplify their approach? I know we've spoken about magnesium, we've spoken about protein in terms of the sort of foundational supplements to start with, but if it was more of an approach to how one looks into the world of supplementation and how one looks into what they need for themselves on their personal journey, what would be the advice that you would give them in order to simplify that approach? And what would be the small sort of foundational shifts that people could make in their daily lives in order to try and optimize their wellness with regards to supplementation and nutrients?
Okay, so easy to understand is that a supplement will never replace food. When it comes to food, because we're also bombarded with that and what we can eat and what we shouldn't be eating. And oh my word, it's tiresome. But what we definitely want to avoid is foods that are going to cause high inflammation. That is a critical pillar of health, because most people don't understand that it's actually inflammation that causes all the dread diseases. The body doesn't just get cancer. There's a road to that, and it's high inflammation. So you want to avoid your seed oils, canola, all of the, sunflower, completely avoid them. Be very careful when you go out to eat, because a lot of the time they use those oils. So always ask.
Because they're cheaper.
And they're abundant. So literally at home, swap out and use coconut oil and olive oil. That is a very easy thing that anyone can start doing from tomorrow. Follow the 80-20 rule. Like, we all want to live. Like, if I want a chocolate, my word, I'm going to eat a chocolate, But I'm just cognizant that I'm not going to eat it every day. So if everyone can just follow an 80-20 rule, 80% of the time, eat healthy, real food, and 20% of the time, maybe a little bit of rubbish here and there. And by rubbish, I mean, a sweetie or a chocolate or whatever. And also, please don't hate me, everyone, but please try avoid drinking excess coffee. Just one a day is if you really need it in the morning or whenever you need it, just one a day. Try minimize or remove the sugar out of it. Coffee really plays havoc on leaching magnesium out of your body. It really does do that, and it also is stressful on your adrenal glands, and our adrenal glands are shot, as we know. So that's, in terms of nutrition, I think everybody can at least do that without being overloaded. With supplements, apart from what I've mentioned, I actually want to suggest to people is they cycle their supplements. So, we think, every single day we have to take this every single day. And what people need to understand is that our liver as the organ is actually the organ that is processing all these supplements. We think it's our stomach and our colon. It's not. It hits the liver, and the liver has to do all the heavy lifting. And if you constantly just keep on bombarding with supplements, the liver eventually, there's a price you're going to pay for that. So sometimes I don't take anything. And some days I'll go 2 days without taking anything. And then on the third day, I'll take supplements. Or I give the weekend, I'm off. Even the magnesium. I give my body a complete clean break of supplements.
Every weekend?
Most weekends.
Okay.
Also just because I'm tired and I'm just like,
Yeah.
and then by the time the day's gone on, I'm like, I've actually forgot to take, so I'm just not going to bother taking. And obviously, please, if you're taking chronic stuff and you're taking stuff that you really need to take, I mean, obviously that doesn't apply. But if you're fairly healthy and you're just taking supplements because you need to, give your body a break. Cycle it. And I want to say go for the healthy in terms of the very high quality, but there again, we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know what's high quality and what's not.
Oh, I see, yeah.
There is a telltale sign which I've noticed. If a supplement brand markets themselves and they say, beware of, not all supplement brands are the same or created equal, that for me is a big warning sign, because the really good quality supplement brands never have to tell anybody how good they are. I mean, they don't.
Yeah.
So it's generally the really average, mediocre ones that put out all this hype that, beware of these, So that's another telltale sign.
Okay.
So that's simple enough for people to, apart from taking the magnesium and maybe just trying to get a little bit more protein in every day.
I mean, you've probably answered this as well, although that was more a question around foundational shifts in terms of behavior. In closing, if there's one thing that you would like people to shift in terms of mindset around supplements, considering, as we've said a million times, there's just so much out there. And I think right now people's mindset is probably one of a little bit of desperation and confusion. If we could encourage people to shift their mindset somewhat with regards to this topic, what would that shift be? Less is more? Cycling? What would it be?
I actually am not going to answer that directly. What I want people to understand is that this is philosophical. You have to find your purpose in life. Because once you've found that, and that can be anything. I mean, you don't have to be the king of the world. You can be a mother. If that's your purpose, to raise your kids in this crazy world, That is a very noble purpose. Yeah. You have to find your purpose, and you have to be brave enough to actually follow it, no matter the cost, because just that alone changes your whole chemistry of your body, like completely. And you have to be very mindful of how you talk to yourself every day, because let me tell you, negative self-talk will kill you faster than any food, any drug, anything on the planet. So the chemical reaction that happens when you put yourself down, or it's so profoundly bad for us. And now years go by, and then no supplement's going to work. Doesn't matter what food we eat. Doesn't matter anything. Your body is literally made of water. And when you saw that, I mean, that's mind-blowing. If you just give yourself a little bit of love, you know what, I'm trying my best. I really am. And if you're not trying your best, you know, which is also fine. But don't, just forgive yourself, move on, talk kindly to yourself. And then, you know what? The supplements are probably going to work better for you just because your biochemistry has improved.
Yeah.
And your brain patterns have improved. And your whole physiology will start to improve. And when your physiology starts to improve, your food will be more nutritious. Everything, your body's going to absorb all that goodness so much better and know what to do with those supplements. So, so it's actually nothing is in isolation. You can buy all the most expensive supplements in the world, but if you are miserable, you're unhappy, you're not living your life with purpose, it doesn't matter what you take. So you got to sort yourself out first.
I couldn't have scripted that better if I had written it myself in terms of what we're trying to talk about on this podcast. So thank you for saying that. It's something I believe in so strongly. It's not something that I live as often as I should, although I try. But I've said it, in fact, in previous episodes, that someone once gave me the best advice with regards to positive self-talk. And when you're having one of those moments and being like, oh, you look terrible. What are you wearing? What are you doing? That was stupid. Think about if you would speak that way to either your best friend or your child. And if the answer is absolutely hell no, and I would kill anyone that did, why are you speaking like that to yourself, And it's so profound, as you said, and it's so deep and it's so true. And it's something that I've only realized at the grand old age of 50 and really starting to try and, hammer it home to myself on a daily basis, and hopefully then in turn pass that on to my kids and my friends and people in my circle, because I genuinely do believe, that's why I'm doing all of this. I really do believe that if we just have more of a focus on happiness for ourselves, projecting happiness onto others, and just trying to find our meaning and our joy, it has such an impact on every single element of our health. So I'm really happy that you closed with that. Thank you. And to everyone watching and listening, thank you so much for watching and listening. And I really hope you got something out of this. I encourage everyone on whichever platform you are watching or listening to please send feedback and send questions. We will absolutely have Toni back again, because clearly there's a lot to be discussed here. And I'm very open to taking on questions and comments from everyone and discussing it on your behalf. So please let us know. And if you liked it, like it, share it, subscribe, and do all those good things, please. And thank you for the time, and take care of yourselves. If this episode shifted something with you, share it with someone who needs it. Because the wellness industry doesn't change from the top down. It changes through conversations like these. So subscribe, and stay close. We're not chasing wellness anymore. We're redefining it through joy. See you next week.